The tried and true age-old method. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Faith and thank you so much for watching. I have sadly fallen victim to a reading hangover. And if you don't know what a reading hangover is, it is essentially when you finish a book and you had such a strong connection to it and you just loved it and you really just can't fathom moving on from the characters and the world. Honestly, it's both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because you just found a book that you absolutely loved, and it's a curse because you just literally cannot move on from it and read something else. I finished Nightshade Bottomwoods a couple days ago, and that is the state that I am in. While this video isn't about me reviewing and recommending you this book, I do just have to say, I recommend that you read this book. It is a mystery and romance wrapped into one, and it was just so incredible, and it was so beautifully written. You need to read this book. If you're watching this video, you have probably found yourself in a reading hangover, and I am going to try to help you move on by giving you 5 methods that help me get out of my reading hangovers. And some of these also will probably work if you're in a reading slump as well. And if you don't know what a reading slump is, it is essentially just a period of time where you just lose the desire to read anything. Now that all of that is out of the way, let me give you my 5 methods. Method 1. Listen to an audiobook. What I love about this one and what I really think helps about it is that it kind of feels like you're getting a little break from reading, but you're still consuming a book. Now, I would just like to clarify, I do believe that audiobooks count as reading. When you're physically reading a book, you have to take time out of your day to do that because while you're doing that, you can't really do anything else. But with an audiobook, you can press play and pretty much do anything that you want. You can do a puzzle, you can crochet, you can knit, you can do your chores, you can clean the house, whatever you need to do while still consuming a book. This is definitely the method that helps me the most, and it is what I'm currently doing to try to get over Nightshade, and I'm currently listening to The Hurricane Wars. And moving on to method 2, we have just simply take a break from reading for a little bit. Do something that is just going to completely take your mind off of books and kind of like restart your brain. If there's a hobby that you've been really wanting to get into, go give it a try. If there is a movie or show that you've really been wanting to watch, go watch it. If there's nothing new you want to do, just do something that you love. If you love to sew, go sew. If you love to hang out with your friends, go hang out with your friends. Something that helps me during these breaks is to do something that is the complete opposite of what I just read. So for example, if you just finished a cutesy rom-com, turn on an action thriller movie. My goal for this year is to read every single day, so unfortunately I can't do this method. However, if you're okay with taking a few days off from reading, give it a try. And then we have method 3, which is reread a book or series that you love. If I'm in a reading hangover, sometimes I'll have a really hard paying attention to the next book that I read. So picking up a book that you love that you already know what happens, so you don't necessarily have to pay attention, is just a good way to get your focus back on a different book. Because at first you might be zoning out a little bit, not paying super close attention, but then as you continue reading and reconnecting with that world, you'll find it easier to pay attention, which gets your mind off the original book that caused the hangover in the first place. I was debating doing this method instead of listening to an audiobook, and I was about to start Binding 13 again, but then I was like, no, I'm not feeling a reread this early in the year, so I chose to do the audiobook instead. I feel like if you're somebody who doesn't typically do rereads, this is like the perfect time to do them. Not that there's anything wrong with not rereading books, it's just like this is kind of an excuse to do that. I know for the longest time I wasn't a huge rereader, and then I reread a book and I was like, wait, why am I not rereading books that I love? And now I've reread a ton of books. And then we have method 4, which is to read a shorter book. Now, I'm not saying you need to seek out a 100-page novella, but if you just read a 400-page book, I probably wouldn't pick a 600-page book to help get you out of that hangover. Try and pick something that is less of a commitment and will take you less time to get through. For example, this book is roughly 400 pages, and I was actually planning on reading On Wings of Blood after this, but then I picked it up and I was like, I'm curious what the page count is, and it is almost 600 pages, and I was like, that is just such a big commitment when I literally cannot get my mind off of this book. And the rest of my books on my January TBR are longer than this book, so I'm kind of deviating off of that right now just to help get out of the hangover. So basically, just pick a book that's not going to be a huge commitment to get through, if that makes sense. And for our final method, engage with fan content. Whether it be going back through the book and rereading your favorite parts, or going to the author's page on social media and engaging with some fan art or snippets that they've posted there, or the tried and true age-old method, go read some fan fiction, guys. I know the older you get, the more controversial it is to reread fan fiction. I do not care. I was addicted to fan fiction in high school. I read it all the time. And I'm not in high school anymore, but I will still read fan fiction occasionally because it's fun, guys. And yes, some fics are really poorly written, but some are also really good, to the point where I read some of these fics a decade ago and I still think about them to this day because they were so good. So while it may be controversial when you're grown, guys, it freaking works, okay? But obviously the fanfiction thing does kind of depend on what you just read, which is go engage in fan content of any time that will keep you immersed in this world. And this method is kind of different than the rest because the rest were kind of focusing on getting you out of it, but this one focuses on keeping you in it. But in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with staying in a world that you love for a little while longer. So go look at the fan art, go reread some snippets, go read a fan fiction, or write your own. And those are my methods for getting out of a reading hangover, and I really hope at least one of them will help you. And I think that is all that I have for you guys today. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow my Instagram and my TikTok, which are in the description below, for more bookish content. I hope that your reading hangover goes away. Love you guys. Bye!